Hey, it's Panzerkunst here, and in this video I want to review the Tier 5 British multi-role Hurricane 2D. It's a premium or kind of like a gift aircraft. A lot of you probably have it in your hangar just from opening some boxes, maybe even the weekly rewards. And it's easy to kind of brush over because it's pretty much exactly the same as a Hurricane 2, but the biggest thing that I want to highlight here is the guns. It has two 40mm cannons with 160 damage each, 90 rate of fire, and 600 range. I don't ever think you should shoot this at 600. You need to get in closer. And this thing does chunk damage. It does amazing damage for what it is. And I don't want to get too much into all the stats because I have a replay where I go through it, so I want to spend more time on that. I don't want to make a 20-minute replay video. But just looking at this, 393 cumulative damage. Let's take a quick look at all Tier 5 heavy aircraft, just for comparison. P-38, 344. SC-100, 346. BF-110E, 329. Key-45, 265. Bullfighter 5, 180. Bullfighter. This is the only Tier 5 aircraft that has more cumulative damage than the Hurricane 2D. So, very quickly, it's just like any other Hurricane. It's low altitude performance, very slow airspeed, just average to below average maneuverability, good survivability. It's tough, but these guns are the absolute highlight of this aircraft, and it makes it all the worthwhile. It's not the most dynamic. You can't attack bombers that well, but I first want to show a few clips of just the raw firepower that you can do. You could take out 2 targets very quickly, and then I have one replay I'm going to go through to kind of show the strengths and weaknesses of the Hurricane 2D. So before we get into the replay, I was originally going to include 2 replays in this video, but because I didn't want to make it too long, I just decided to cut one out and only show that one. So in the beginning, I'm talking about other stuff that I didn't show before, just to give you a heads up. But let's make our way over to that replay now where we discuss the strengths and weaknesses. This is a little bit easier to work with because the main mining plant is in the middle and 2 garrisons, so I can easily go between those 3 caps. I'm not going to focus on the forward airstrips, but looking at the enemy team makeup, this is a flight, of a Bristol and a F2A, so I know I can take those guys on. And then I have a heavy, so I can't really mess with the heavy. But since the bombers are tier 4, when I first spawn, I'm going to go to the mining plant and try to get some bombers or GA. And I mentioned how this isn't good against bombers. But if you're in a tier 4 and you see them, and you start out the match already high, you can stay in this area a little bit. But if you're down on the deck and you need to climb up to get bombers, it's not going to work out. But I was able to keep the altitude at the beginning, and look how quickly I was able to take out that one. And I'm chasing this bomber, and look how slow I am. Slow. I finally get there. I didn't get him on that first pass, but I'm able to take that bomber out. And then this multi-roll comes in. It's a tier 5, and I'm able to do some damage to him here. And look at that chunk I just took away. So this gun is really good at chunk damage. You can, if you get that last hit, and then this Yak 7, he's coming in. I wait till I'm close, 500, take him out. That was like, it seemed like one shot that hit took him out. So you really do have the ability to take out a lot of aircraft in a short amount of time. Look at that. You only need a few hits to do all the damage, and that's what makes it pretty powerful. And then, oh yeah, I wanted to highlight this also. I see the heavy coming at me, so I dodge, and I dodge his attack and then turn on him. And if he was, you know, a higher skilled player, he would have just kept going straight, climbed, and dove on me. But he decides to turn, and that's his mistake. He's in a P-38. He shouldn't be turning on a multi-roll. So he turns, and I'm able to take out a lot of damage here. I cripple him, and then he finally realizes, you know what, I can't turn with the Hurricane. I'm going to get out of here. But since he's slowed down so much, we made a full turn. He lost all his speed, and look at that. I'm able to take him out with just a couple shots. So that was good. And now we have this, so I'm thinking, let's go take this garrison over here. But right before I get there, they take it. And I mentioned looking at the team roster before you start. So in my head, I know I'm dealing with a multi-role, a fighter, and a heavy. Those are the enemy players that are kind of in my head. And sure enough, I see one right here, the F2A, and I'm gonna focus on him to take him out. Look how quickly I can do this. He's not paying attention. He's on fire. And I was able to just look like a glitch right there, but I was able to take him out pretty easily. And I'm looking around. What's my next target? I see this one here. I'm able to take the bot out. That's 60 capture points. And I'm coming around here. I'm like, if I can get this garrison, I got the garrison pretty easily. Using these guns, getting in close. So now, if you notice, our mining plant is on low health. So I'm thinking, all right, let's go and defend that. And I see those two juicy GA there, but they're able to take it. So I had mentioned also kind of being aware of what the enemy team is, right? Just having that awareness that you need in this kind of aircraft. That's not the fastest or not the best of maneuverability. So a lot of players, when they see this, they're gonna just focus on those two GA. Oh, I gotta get the GA. I gotta get the GA, right? But if you look at the screen, there's a little arrow and it has a little multi-roll symbol. So that tells me there's a multi-roll inbound. And I already have it in my head that one of the enemy aircraft is a multi-roll. So I take a quick look in battle. I took a quick look like this, and I see it's the player. So instead of focusing on this and letting him come behind me on my tail and kill me, as you will see, I quickly break off from these GA and I meet him face to face. And those are the kind of things you need to do in an aircraft like this. You can't easily turn on people, so you have to get the jump. So you see, I'm going up against the GA, and then I notice that. And quickly I turn, I meet him. He comes at me, and I let my guns do their work. And I'm able to take him out very easily. So it looks like there was a little delay there. So those little things have pretty much secured this game for us. I'm going up against these GA, and I know I'm low on health. So it's not really in my best interest to be in their tail gunners. And I climb here with my engine out, and I stall out. So I mean, this aircraft can't even sustain a little climb with the engine out. But the guns make up for it because I set the Stuka on fire, and I'm able to take him out. So that worked out. And now I'm just kind of doing cleanup work. It's going to be squall line. So if I take this GA out, well, it was before squall line. Actually, I think it was. I think this replay is a little bit delayed. But I'm able to control that, and I know we're ahead. But since they have the mining plant, they can easily beat us if it's able to take over and get the bonus points. So I head over there to defend. And sure enough, the player's there, the F2A that I had showed earlier. I attack him, and he's focused on something else. see, if he's focused on the GA, he's paying no attention to me. All he has to do is turn on me, and he can kill me and possibly secure the game. But no, it's that having that situational awareness. I was able to ignore the GA and attack him, but he's set on the GA because he knows it's an easy target. And he's set on the GA, and look what happens to him.
Good job, pilots.
He's taken out very easily in a couple bursts. So this secured the victory. And looking at the personal points, this was a 20,000 personal point game. So it didn't seem like much, but putting all those things together, it really was able to add up on this one. And I stood alive. I got the Marcel medal. So things really have to fall in your favor in this aircraft. But if you know how to make it work, and if you have the awareness to be a step ahead, you can do a lot of damage. So here we are at the Kunzer scale with the Hurricane 2D. And the first rating is altitude, and I had to give it a 3 out of 5 because it's pretty much standard among all the other tier 5 multi-rolls, and it's just like the Hurricane 2. So there's nothing really special about that. It's just average. Secondly, the speed, I had to give it a 2 because it does perform below average. I know a lot of multi-rolls are in that kind of range where a 350 cruise, 550 top speed, but in this aircraft, it's not that usable because you only really hit the top speed when you're on the 8th, 9th, or 10th second of the boost. It just takes too long, and as you saw in the video, it takes too long to get from sector to sector. So it really struggles with its speed. And the third one, firepower, which is the whole point of this video. It's excellent. You rivaled even some tier 6 heavies, some tier 6 multi-rolls in just terms of raw firepower. And in my opinion, these 40s are the perfect mix of a derp and 20s. Because when you have 20s, they're fast firing, but they have a lower damage output, but it's consistent, right? With a derp, you have a high damage, but low rate of fire, and you have to hit your shot. So if you see an aircraft with 300 hit points with 20s, you know you're going to have to consistently hit it for a few seconds. When you have a derp, you can take it out in 1 or 2 shots, but the trick is you have to actually hit them. While these 40s have the damage of a derp, but the firing characteristics of 20s. So you just get really close, you hit the fire button, and chunks of damage will come out. So to me, it's a perfect pairing. It's a perfect balance between a derp and 20s, and it's just in tier 5. It's just pretty powerful. So that's definitely the highlight of this. And the last one, turning or maneuverability. This was a tough one for me. As you see, I kind of had to go break the mold a little bit here, but I couldn't wholeheartedly give it a 3 because even though it's in the same turn time as other multi-rolls, you can't use the turn time to its full extent because of its just low performance. But at the same time, I couldn't give it a 2 because the FW190 tier 5 has the flat out the worst turn time. So it was kind of hard for me to kind of decipher this, but I ended up at a 2.5 because it looks okay on paper, but in the games that I've played, you can't really outturn too much stuff. So we kind of end up adding all that up. We end up at a 12.5, and looking at the legend on the left here, it falls right between the meh and the das gut. So I came up with das meh. And to me, that's kind of a perfect rating because if I was to say this plane is meh, the firepower is extraordinary and it's fun. Like that, just having those is fun enough to fly this plane. But if I say it's das gut, like a BF109E or B, I'm not giving it the full credit because everything else about it is average or below average. So 12.5, right in the middle between those two ratings, I think it's perfect. I enjoy it. It's a nice little gift or reward plane to have. And if you get those 40s hitting, it's very satisfying. So anyway, that's my review of the Hurricane 2D, and I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.